Bezrat Hashem. Shalom Aleichem, Erev Tov, Shavua Tov. We're here tonight, the Motzei. Actually, yesterday we celebrated the holiday of the Rosh Hashanah Leilanot, the New Year of the Trees, Chamisha B'Shvat, and and when we speak about Chamisha B'Shvat, we speak about many different things, but the main thing is the fruits of the tree. And how we human beings are similar to the fruits of the tree. And here in our story, we'll be able to hear a little bit about the fruits of the tree and how they are interrelated with us, with the Jewish nation. Our story starts off with a woman who came as a tourist from France to New York, and as a tourist, she really wasn't there to tour and to see the views. The one thing that she wanted to get is she wanted to reach 770 Eastern Parkway, the Chabad Lubavitch World Headquarters. And there she wanted to receive a blessing from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. This is already after Gimel Tammuz, and the blessings that we receive today, we receive basically through the writing of letters in the Igros Kodesh of the Rebbe's holy letters. We have today over 30 volumes of letters of the Rebbe that have been printed, gathered together and bound and printed. And this woman wanted to receive a blessing. She came to 770. She asked, how does she enter? She was pointed to the women's gallery, and she went into the Ezras Nashim. And there she's standing, searching. And when people see people that are searching, they obviously they feel concerned for the other person. So an Israeli woman stood up and walked over to her, and she asked if she could help her, assist her. And she said she's here in order to receive a blessing from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And the woman said, "You came to the right place." So he said, "How do I do it? How do I get the blessing?" And the woman asked her, "What exactly are the circumstances that she's asking for a blessing? If she wants to, if she would like to share with her the situation." The woman tells her a story about her daughter back in France, who is married already 8 years, and she hasn't been zeicha, she hadn't merited yet to receive children. And she feels terrible every time they show up at family gatherings. So you can see the long faces on their and they're like, always gloomy. And she decided that the mother also deserves some happiness and joy in her life, to be able to go into to grab and to hug her grandchildren. And so she heard that the Rebbe does miracles, and she came from France to the United States, to New York, to Crown Heights, to Brooklyn, in order to receive the Rebbe's blessing. And the woman said, "Fine, this is what we do." And she took her to the to wash her hands in the Tilas Yadayim at the sink, and she put a few coins into a charity box, into a pushka, tzedakah pushka, and then she gave her paper and pen, and she said, "Here, put everything that you have that is glooming on your heart, put it down in writing to the Rebbe." And she sat down and she wrote a long letter in regard to her daughter and the fact that they didn't have children yet. And then she said, "Now what do I do?" And she said, well, she pointed to the set of the Igros Kodesh, the Rebbe's letters, and she said, "Choose one of the volumes, and we'll put your letter into the Rebbe." She chose a volume. They put the letter into the Rebbe, into the volume that she chose. They together they said the proclamation of Yechi Adonenu, Moreinu V'Rabbeinu, HaMelech Ha'Moshiach Le'Olam V'Oed 3 times, and then they opened up. The woman from France said, I know a little Hebrew, but I really can't read this letter. Would you be able to help me? No, the other woman, the Israeli woman, started to read the letter, and she's reading, and it's already like 2, 3, 4 minutes, and she's totally silent. Why is she silent? Because she's reading a letter, and she doesn't understand the connection between the letter and what the woman here in front of her is asking for. The contents of the Rebbe's letter was in regard to the fact that the custom in Chabad is that we try as good as possible to during the holiday of Tishrei, during the holiday of Sukkot, to make the blessing on the lulav and esrog with with an esrog that comes from the Italian city of Calabria. Okay? Actually, it was connected to the time that this woman is writing her letter to the Rebbe, because she came right after the holidays, the end of the month of Tishrei after Sukkot, and the streets were filled with esrog boxes, the way everything is after Sukkot, Simchas Torah, everything is like topsy-turvy in Crown Heights. But any connection between the esrog between the esrog and this woman's daughter having children, she couldn't make sense of it, until finally it was miraculous. The woman said, the Rebbe put the words into my mind. She remembered a story. There was a story that she remembered in regard to a woman that went by. The Rebbe gives the women on the last day of the holiday of Sukkot, on Hoshana Rabbah, the Rebbe allows the women to bless on his lulav and esrog. And there was a woman that came and she received the lulav and esrog from the Rebbe, and then she was her heart was torn. She said she's married so many years, and she herself did not receive any children yet. The Rebbe said that he'll tell his secretary that after the holiday, after Sukkot, he should give this woman the Rebbe's esrog, upon which so many people made a blessing, so many people shedded tears during the holiday of Sukkot. And there is such a great power of holiness, of Kedusha in this esrog. She should go and she should make it. It's a well-known thing that women take at the esrogim, and they make from the esrog that was blessed upon during the holiday of Sukkot. They make a nice sweet jam, and she should eat from the jam of the esrog. And the Rebbe said that with Hashem's help, she'll receive children. She remembered this story, and she looked at this woman standing in front of her, the potential grandmother, and she says, "Listen, I can't tell you as a promise, but these are the words that the Rebbe is telling you, that you should go and you should take your esrog. Do you have an esrog?" She says, "Yes. They back in Paris, she had an esrog. You should take your esrog and you should make it into jam, and you should give your daughter to eat from the jam, and then with Hashem's help, your daughter will have a child." She says, esrog, jam. She wasn't familiar with the idea, and so this Israeli woman says, "Listen, no problem." She takes the pen, she takes a sheet of paper, and she writes down the exact instructions of how to make jam from an esrog. Great. Now that she has the recipe, she says, "Thank you very much," and she she didn't stick around long in New York. She got back on a plane to Paris. She arrives in Paris. She takes the esrog. Actually, she took a few esrogim. She went and she prepared them exactly according to the recipe that the Israeli woman gave her, and then she invited her daughter over. Her daughter arrives and the daughter says, "What am I here for?" So she says, "Don't ask questions. You see this jam? You eat as much as you please, to your heart's content." She says, "What?" She said, "Yes, yes, it's good for you." So, so the daughter didn't ask questions. She sits down. She starts eating the jam. She has, a teaspoon, another teaspoon, another teaspoon, and it tasted good. And then she looks at her mother like, "Is that enough?" So her mother smiles and says, "Do you want more?" So the daughter says, "No, c'est suffit. I think that's enough. C'est suffit, ça." Okay, so the grandmother said, "Fine," and then she gives a big smile and she says, "We should hear good news by you. We should hear good news by you." Fine. The daughter goes home. Uh, a short amount of time, like a month or two, goes by, and the daughter comes back to the mother, and she tells her her secret. Usually, these kind of things you don't tell before 5 months of the pregnancy. But she was so excited she had to share it with someone, so she went to her mother and she said that she's pregnant. And the mother said, "I knew it, I knew it." And it was with her perfect belief and trust in the Rebbe's words and following to the exact instructions of the woman that told her how to prepare the jam, that she felt the blessing of the Rebbe came true. Story's not over. She goes that day. She goes that day to the supermarket in order to go and to buy something, and it was a very particular product that she was searching on the shelves and she wasn't able to find. And another woman walks in, and they start speaking, and this woman helped her find what she was looking for on the shelf. And one thing led to another, and they started to have a conversation. And then this woman opens up to the other woman, and she tells her own story. This woman that helped her the future grandmother find the product, and this woman tells her that she's been married many years, and her and her husband have gone to many doctors. They've gone to rabbis. They've gone to Kabbalists. And nothing till now has helped them. And she doesn't know what to do, and she wants so much to have a child. So the future grandmother says, "You've come to the right address. Hashem has literally sent you right to me. I know your exact feelings. I felt this way, and this is exactly what I went through. And I have the answer to your prayers." She says, "What?" She says, "Yes. Come to my home later on today, and I'll be able to help you." She was so intact with her belief and her trust in the Esrog jam that she knew that this is going to help the other woman. The other woman comes to her address, and she comes into the apartment. And she sits down, and she asks her, "Did you ever eat a jam from an esrog?" So she says, "No." She says, "You know what an esrog is?" She says, "Yes, the Jewish." She herself is Jewish. She says, "This is what we make the blessing on in the holiday of Sukkot." She says, "Yes." So the Lubavitcher Rebbe, she says, told me that if I make jam from an esrog and I give it to my daughter, so she'll be able to have a child. And within a very short amount of time that I gave my daughter to eat the esrog jam, she's pregnant now. So here, this is the jam. Eat, and with God's help, you'll see a blessing. The woman didn't ask questions, and she was also convinced with total trust and belief that this is going to help her to receive the blessing of Hashem through the blessing that the Rebbe gave in the Rebbe's letters. This woman sat down, she ate jam, and she went home. The following year, during the holiday of Sukkot, both of these families, also the daughter of this woman and also the friend of this woman, they were both sitting in their own respective Sukkot, their own respective sukkahs, and each one was hugging a child. The daughter was hugging a baby girl, and the other woman, the friend of the grandmother that helped her in the supermarket, was hugging a baby boy. But this is exactly, no, Baruch Hashem, Mazel Tov. This is exactly in our day and age, right now, whether we eat the Esrog jam or otherwise, this is exactly the trust and the belief that we have to have in the words of the Rebbe. The Rebbe comes and tells us that we're now living in the times of the Geula, of the redemption, and that everything that is going on around us are the actions of Mashiach himself in the world. All the unbelievable, uncanny miracles that we're experiencing, the factors of the United States preparing to have a battle, a war against Iran, all these things were already recorded 2,000 years ago, and we have these things. We have these writings in the Homiletic writings, in the Midrashim, in the Talmud, and they specifically write about the king of Persia and the king of Rome, who today is considered to be the representative of the United States, and everything is written in very fine detail. The only thing the Rebbe tells us is, as this story unravels, that we have to prepare ourselves and to prepare our environment to greet Moshiach in actuality. And every single day, every single hour, every single moment that goes by, this is another, so to speak, opportunity for us to be able to go and to prepare ourselves a little better, a little more, and to prepare others a little more and a little and a little better. And this is what we have to look forward to, and Be'ezrat Hashem we'll be able to see. And like we said before, maybe in the Mashiach Seudah, we're going to have a big Seudah, a very big feast, immediately now in the third and the eternal Beis Hamikdash in Yerushalayim. Maybe as a Vorspeise, as an opener, they'll be serving Esrog jam. Last night I was by a Farbrengen, a birthday Farbrengen, and there was something very exclusive. It was an Esrog mashke. In other words, it was a vodka prepared from esrogim. The fellow, he himself is originally from Prague, from Czechoslovakia. He prepared, it was sitting in alcohol for 2 years. And we made l'chaims on the Esrog mashke. It certainly had a very, very affluent taste of esrogim. And halavai, it'll have all the blessings that we enumerated. Not only children and children's children, grandchildren and great grandchildren, but all the other blessings and all the other faculties of life, bonei, everything that has to do with family matters, chaye, health matters, and mezene reviche, parnasa, livelihood. And the main thing, to bring the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach on a good and revealed basis. And may it be teichef umiyad mamish, immediately now. Yechi Adonenu, Moreinu v'Rabbeinu, HaMelech HaMoshiach, Chai v'Kayim la'olam v'ed. Amen.